Casual Magic has been sponsored by Quiver, maker of the Quiver and Bolt deck cases and other fine deck holding accessories. Use the code CASUAL on their website for 10% off your order. We're also sponsored by Architect, the premier site for hosting your decks on the internet. I love them and they love me, and it seems like a good reason for you to use them. You can also support Casual Magic directly by going to our Patreon at patreon.com/ShivamB. And now, on with the show. Hello and welcome to Casual Magic, the show where we talk about the fun side of Magic the Gathering. My name is Shivam Bhatt, and Casual Magic is brought to you by Architect and Quiver and my patrons at patreon.com/ShivamB. Today, I'm really excited to have one of the most delightful community members, just an upbeat, sunshine of positivity, one of the birds of paradise, a person who's run a really great stream for a very long time and just puts me to shame when it comes to actual Commander content to put out, which it turns out I'm like the fakest Commander content creator of all time because I don't make Commander content ever. I just kind of pretend and things show up and people look at me. But no, I'm talking here to everybody's dear friend, Bobbie Christine. Hello, buddy.
Hi there.
I'm so glad to have you finally. I know.
Hey, Shivam.
I've wanted to have you on the show before, and I have to put out a show every week, which means there's a lot of people I have to talk to. But I'm really glad you're here with us today. How's it going?
It's going really good in a general sense, and it's also going, oh gosh, oh boy, is it going actually quite in every single direction?
Yeah, I feel
I think about it.
Now that I think about what I said, how are you doing is like the most fraught question I could ask you of all people.
I really do mean it though. It is going in both directions for sure. Like I'm feeling really good, and then I'm like, all right, let's not check the news so that we can maintain that feeling.
Yeah, holistically speaking,
right?
Maybe we could be doing better on a personal level. I was talking to somebody about this the other day because I was like, because it was a friend of mine who I hadn't talked to in a hot minute, and we were just chatting on the phone because it's nice to do that on occasion. And I was just like, yeah, man, it's weird because on a personal level, I'm doing great. Life is going well. My kid is healthy. My wife is healthy. Like I got to go on a cool trip. All the things are good. Everything is.
Yeah.
And a set that I worked on came out and it's sick. I'm super excited about that, right? And on a grand scheme level, no, this is all bad all the time.
We're that frog, but it turns out that frog in the pot can actually
buddy.
You can have like a good day,
Right? Like, look, homie just thinks he's at the hot spring. It's fine. Eventually it'll just get too hot, but
That's so funny. I already had some thoughts. You mentioned at the opening here, you mentioned like being a Commander content creator, and like I have been like going through some health stuff, so it's been hard to feel like I'm properly producing anything based on it. But then I honestly take a step back. If I really think about it, I'm like, you know what? I kind of got here on vibes anyway. So.
Right? Same.
I mean, people just want good people around, and that's not our fault.
Yeah, you know what? Like, the way I look at this is that what have I been doing? What have I brought to the format, or to content? And yes, I ran Commander for 5 years. Okay, fine. So that has something to do with something, I guess. But
Keep
really,
that badge.
I have a little CAG Emeritus badge in my Discord, and that's like about as far as it goes. But like, when you think about it, what I do is I talk to people, and like what you do is the same. It's like we're just here because people enjoy it. It's because it's nice to have positivity, because there's so much, just so many people so much content, not just Magic, but in the broad scheme of things, is turns on like, how can I make you irritated about this thing? Or I am already irritated, and I'm going to tell you why. Yeah. Or like, this thing that I purport to love is totally exploitative and bad, and there's no good, consumption under capitalism and blah, blah. Like, okay. I get it. But also we like each other, and this is fun. So it's
Right?
okay to just have fun,
I
right?
am like, you sit back and just be like, "Yeah, you sure. Maybe you're absolutely totally correct,
Oh, 100%.
you wanna just, like, come over and play some cards or, like, what?"
Dude, the other day on Blue Sky, someone, like, I post my Scryfall randoms every day, right? Like, and I
Really?
just throw them up there and I don't think about it. And someone was like, WotC has ruined the game forever. I'm like, okay, yeah, fine, that's sure. It's like it used to be a game with strategy and choices, and now it's just pay to play. And I'm like, well, I was playing in 1994, and I remember getting skunked by the rich kid who had the moxes against
Oh,
my
yeah.
Uthden trolls or whatever the hell. And it's like, no, it's always been like this. It's always been a gachapon game. It invented
Uh-huh.
gachapon games. It's
Oh,
been pay
yeah.
to play since. But the difference is I understand this and I'm okay with it because I
Yep.
get it. Hobbies are
Yeah.
expensive and this is just fun. And I like playing cards.
That
Like,
fight's not worth it. That fight's for someone else. I'm not
yeah,
gonna
right.
have
Like
it.
it's like, look, dude, I'm not young anymore. I don't got time. Like when I was younger, I would have happily stepped in the ring and we would have gone for 12 days and had a nice long flame war or whatever. I respect that you are correct and that this game is exploitative and it's not great and certainly financially bad for us, but also it makes me feel good and has introduced me to some of my dearest friends I've got. So,
Right. It's like, "Correct, correct, capitalism. Do you wanna see how cool my life game deck is? I'll
right?
show you card by card how
Like,
excited I am about it."
yeah, exactly, right? Like, dude, I hella want to see that, the artist proof that you've got or whatever it is. Like, celebrate the cool things. It's like somebody once called me. Sorry, I know this is not about me. I've done 274
You're
episodes of this
totally
show.
good.
People don't need to hear about me all the time. However, there was somebody who called me a Pollyanna. It's just like I'm just like stick my head in the sand and I'm happy go lucky all the time. I'm like, no, dude, that's not ironic. That's just actually how I
Sure. Oh, yeah. Yep.
like.
I
I like this. I like things and I like sharing things I like with people.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like for the both of us, it might be one of the essential ingredients to not kind of being. I don't want to be another one of those voices that, and I think those voices are necessary, but I don't have it in me to be another one of those voices that's just like, hey, let's talk about how much something sucks.
Right?
I'm like, I get it, and I'm glad those voices are there and they're
Yes.
necessary, but I'm just not gonna be one of them.
Right. Exactly. It's like I am very happy to amplify like prof or people who are bringing up valid points that are problematic about our game. Like,
Yeah.
and there's some of my dearest friends. They're
I
very
don't
smart
want
and
them to
erudite.
stop, you know?
Yeah, no, of course, it's important. It's like somebody's gotta hold the feet to the fire. But for me, I will just, like, message Verhey or Rosewater or something directly and then just be like, "Look, dudes, while we're here, let us celebrate each other and share these bonds that we have because that's the better part of all this instead of just being collectively mad. What if we are also like, hey, you know what's fun? Meeting up with my friends 3 months, like every 3 months in a random city and hanging out and just being like, yeah, I love these people. This is great.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't know that I guess all of that to, like, say my content is just the people that I really care about in this community and the people that I want to be able to have a good time together and just bring together, you know?
You were one of the first streams that I guested on.
Oh, yeah, really? Who
Yeah,
did we
I mean,
did we play with Ben Brode? Was that the was
yeah, wasn't it? No,
Yeah.
well, you had hosted one, I think it was early in pandemic or something.
Yep.
You had done a stream because I remember, and you had invited me on, and I was just like, whatever, sure, why not? And like, was it with Ben Brode? It was you, me, Brode, and I don't remember who it was, but it was like, y- yeah, and I was just like, oh, this is very cool. Okay, why not? And that's when I learned how long it takes to film live streams.
Oh, man, I'm, like, shocked actually that it has now been so long that I don't remember that pod. Because for the longest time, I was like, "Yeah," like, I totally but I almost wanna say Rebel was there, but I can't even say for sure, but it was
It might have been because that might have been why I joined. Because like Rebel is I will do whatever Rebel wants me to do.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Uh, yeah, I'm the second biggest Rebel stan on the internet.
We're just
Uh,
saying her name drop, but that also is to say that that was a very memorable. That was a really good time. Thanks for coming to play. I did in those earlier days when I was firing off commander pods. I did try really hard to make sure I knew that the people at the table were going to have a good time together. Because otherwise, I'm like, well,
there's nothing worse than bad magic, right?
yeah, the magic room. Just like, sure, I'll die. I actually don't want to think about the blocks
Right,
anymore.
like
Please just kill me.
like there's some people who like we're really good friends with or really cool and like I love talking to them and hanging out with them. I don't want to play a game of Magic with them because I know well the second we sit down, this is not going to be a good time for either of us because we
Sure.
are not on the same discussion plane, even close. Right?
Yeah.
Like, um, but that I've now wasted 11 minutes talking about me. So let's talk about
I squeezed in there. We're good.
let's talk about you, my friend. Um, how did you find the game?
I found the game. Gosh, I was little Bobby, little Bobby. There's like multiple discoveries of Magic. There's like 8-year-old Bobby who saw his dad's cards and like saw an Avatar of Might and didn't know how to play, but was just like, oh my god, this is like the coolest thing I've ever seen. That
8-year-old
Avatar
and
of Might.
Avatar might make me feel real old right now.
I might have been like 10 or 11, I'm not sure. But then there's like the next discovery when I was like 14 or 15 and I inherited a box of the Lorwyn block from my uncle.
Oh, that's hot.
And that was a real like that feels like when my spark ignited. And then there was like another kind of discovery of Magic with Return to Ravnica, as in I'm just getting older at this point, like later teens, I think, Return to Ravnica, and me and
Later
my
teens.
I mean, me and my buddy got the Izzet versus Golgari kit, and that's when I started playing for,
Mm.
and then there was the last one that was finding Dragon Precon in 2017. I was like, okay, now it's gone from my hobby to like my life. So
I mean, that whole set of 4 are some of the most irritating decks of all time, but also Dragon is so cool.
he was the best.
The best. I mean,
That was by far and away the coolest card I'd ever seen. Next to Progenitus,
it's
but
still one
still,
of the coolest cards I've ever
it
seen.
still is 100%. So that I don't know that question has multiple answers because I feel like I discovered Magic over like multiple times,
Yeah,
kind of.
I feel like for a lot of us who've been around for a while, we have a lot of different entry points.
Yeah,
Like my entry was like seeing my friends play with like the dark and unlimited cards back in like middle school, or then quitting and then coming back with like my friend introducing me to draft with Rise of the Eldrazi of all things, and
nice.
then coming back to play for real with Innistrad, and then like RTR block, and I'm suddenly a real hard like my wife and I bought like the Elspeth versus Tezzeret dual deck
Mhm.
at PAX, and we got into it, and she was like, "Okay, well, this is neat," and I was like, "Oh no, this is just my personality now. This is like just what I do. This is the end of it." Uh,
RTR was special.
oh,
It
dude,
didn't. It was a sequel, and yet it didn't feel like a sequel.
no,
It
it
was
was.
amazing.
People don't remember, but there was a time at that there was Watsi used to go to PAX, and they used to go and make announcements for what the next year's block was going to be, and during like was it Innistrad or what the hell came out? Yeah, it was Innistrad block. They came out and they're like, "We're gonna go back to Ravnica," and it was like one of the first returns anywhere. And people were jumping up and hugging in the audience, and it was like cheering. And you saw where Taylor Swift walked out, and it was like it was
That's
just
so funny.
pandemonium. People were just
That's
over the
awesome.
moon that we were going back. And RTR might be the only return set that actually legitimately held up or beat the original by a
Totally.
lot.
Yeah.
Because real talk, our returns have not been so great.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. When I think of Ravnica, I'm always I was like, oh yeah, that was a sequel.
Yeah.
That wasn't in like an origin story.
No, it was just hella good is what it was. I mean, Tarkir feels like a really good return. Theros was a good return.
Yeah.
Uh, Eldraine was a good return. I liked Eldraine a lot.
The
Innistrad
return,
failed every last possible return it could.
sure. And hitting that original with that Liliana,
I mean,
no, impossible.
it's hard to beat
Yeah,
original Innistrad block though. That's like the all timer.
it really
Anyways,
is.
um, Sorry, I was just getting. I'm old and I'm getting
Oh no,
lost in
we're
that. Like
rambling
just
old school magic.
yeah. Well,
Go
now I'm just
go
thinking about like,
figure.
oh man, returns. This is what happened after my ADHD pills run out. So one of the things that I just find so interesting about you and that I appreciate so much is how much you have been such a huge voice and bellwether for inclusivity in magic, especially in the content creator scene. This is a thing that matters a lot to me personally, for obvious reasons. But it's
Absolutely.
also just like sometime it feels like around 2015 or something, just online magic became hella trans, and then it became like all encompassingly trans and
Yeah.
very inclusive. And I think it's been a phenomenal thing to see.
Yeah.
And then like with organizations like the Birds of Paradise and making space for, marginalized people, and your voice always shows up at the forefront of these things. And it just, as a person who's like very invested in social causes, I find that very inspiring and great, and just like really good to see that younger people than me are also like caring about this stuff.
That really means a lot, and knowing that like my name can come up in those situations, it means a lot. It's something I somehow did on purpose, but also it's not like that was like what I set out to do. You know what I mean?
Nobody sets out to do this, because once you
Right.
do, because if you set out to do something like this, everybody knows you're fake.
Sure.
Like this isn't, you're either organically discovering your way to find a way to make place for people,
Yeah.
or we can see right through you.
Yeah. Like I mean, well, so like I founded Birds of Paradise, but it wasn't to be this inclusive organization with like over 40 members. It was just 8 girls in a group chat that I wanted to I was
So
like,
can you tell the people who don't know what is Birds of Paradise?
Birds of Paradise is one of the foremost women's guild in Magic the Gathering. We come together very regularly at conventions to have a safe play space for people of marginalized backgrounds, of disabilities, who um, there's so many ways to be a non-traditional person in a tabletop hobby, and we just want to be that space where you can go to a convention and see the bird banner and know that this is like a safe space for me to come and play. This is a place where maybe I can grab a pronoun sticker and throw that on, and people are going to respect it, and you can expect them to respect it, and at the end of the day, just play Magic the Gathering comfortable with exactly who they are. And like I said, it just started from a group chat. I was scrolling Twitter, and some of the people I looked up to, some of the girlies I looked up to, are like making tweets about how much they love their group chat. I'm like, I wish I had a group chat. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make. I said, dang it, I'm gonna make my own. And it just grew from there over the years. That happened like almost 4 years ago now.
Damn.
And so yeah, and that's what the Birds of Paradise set out to do. Just while I'm just like on that topic, I'm like super, super honored and excited that coming up in June for MagicCon Vegas is the return of our safe play space. We're going to be
Oh,
part.
really? That's
Yes,
so good.
I'm
Because
super
that was
pumped.
a I spoke with people in high places about how unhappy I was that the Birds of Paradise zone was taken out of Chicago, and I'm pretty
Thank
sure I
you.
wasn't the only one who was yelling at folks who should be yelled at.
That means a lot. I We really appreciate that. But there was some listening, and there's a new space called Community Row, and we're gonna be one of 5 booths at Community Row. So the birdies are back. We never go anywhere, but it feels like it's a real like we're back moment, and we're gonna have the banner, and we're gonna have the tables, and so many cool events. So the birds are doing their thing, and we can't stop, and w- we have more of a reason now more than ever, unfortunately,
Right?
to not stop, to keep doing the thing.
I feel like I should also shout out the Lady Planeswalker Society that Tifa Robles founded in 2011, because
Yeah.
that crew definitely laid the foundation to allow people like the birds and stuff to actually
Yep.
exist and thrive, because before that there wasn't, right?
Yeah.
And like it's so important that these groups build on each other so that we can eventually get to a point where it's just the way it is.
There's like there in my head, at least in my what I see as the canon has been a passing of torch
Yeah,
in a way, and
right.
the Lady Planeswalkers had that torch for years, and like they were making it happen. And I think in my head, maybe not literally, but the torch for me feels like it was passed to the She Sparks.
Yes.
And then I know that having conversations with those lovely ladies and having them
A
come
little
and
closer to
join.
your mic.
Yep, having a conversation with those lovely ladies and having them come join the Birds of Paradise, then now we have the torch, and like it's
Yeah.
getting brighter every single time. I'm telling you, like the torch is like every time it's passed, it's getting brighter and brighter and brighter. So
I
I
love it, dude. I
it's
love
an
it.
honor to have it right now, and then it's sometimes I step back and I'm like shocked to be in that position, to be the ones who are kind of holding that. There's many of us holding it, there's a lot of women's groups out there. I could shout out several of them: SheDH,
Mm,
Scry Babies, Girl Pod, Women in Magic, uh, but
yeah.
we're all like holding it together now.
I think it's just so great. Like I was talking to somebody at Chicago, where I was just sitting there going like, the first GP I went to, there was like 99% of the people there were dudes, except for like Melissa DeTora maybe, and
Right.
like or someone behind a booth or something, right? Like who's just there to help out.
Yeah.
And then like all the casuals were like four people in the back, just like
Right.
way shoved in the corner. And now I'm like, the entire thing is us. And it's not like there's a monolith on race or class or gender. It's just a huge like it's almost getting to like, I mean, the numbers are getting much, much more balanced than they ever were. And like there's families, there's children and parents, and there's people with their partners, and there's like, you know, just it's just so heartening to see how like that all this work that we've been putting in is actually paying off.
Yeah.
It's like it's weird to say that, like, because normally you just in my tradition we are taught to work without expectation for reward, in terms of like not like just like toil, but like to do the work of uplifting people without hoping to get something out of it, like because selflessness is the goal. And so you don't expect to ever see something like succeed. So when I'm at like this con and I see like, a trans throuple and their little child walking around, I'm like, let's go, man. What the hell? We did it. I don't know how that works, but I'm glad it worked for you.
Yeah.
Someone gave me this really cool trans life counter that
Oh,
I just use on my desk as a fiddler.
that is
It's like
so
super sweet.
cracked.
Yeah, it's so sweet.
Oh.
Love
Real quick, I
it.
just want to check cuz I'm talking directly into this mic, but my
You
audio
It
it
looks
is
great.
it is coming. Okay, cool, 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 cool.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You sound fine.
Okay,
And if you don't,
well,
I will make you sound fine. You guys hear that?
you got it. Real real poignant on the thruple though. That is on brand for the transgender community at this point.
You know what? I've learned to not ask. As long as you guys are working it out, I don't care what it says on your taxes, man. Like, good luck. But yeah, like
It's queer as hell out here.
it
So
really is.
the tricky part is that it's queer as hell in the spaces that we've cultivated.
Yeah,
And it's a great space and people feel welcome and it's not hard to find our space. And we can keep it real and we can keep it queer and full of vibrant and different people, but it just takes like going to like the comment
yeah.
section in,
Anywhere.
yeah, and then you see like, well, actually, gosh, it's almost like I intentionally will avoid the comments because I'm not trying to think about how much there is still to do and how much I am sort of in this safe ecosystem that is a bit surrounded by some of that darker
Yeah.
undertone, you know?
I mean, look, when I was on the CAG, they called me the tank of the CAG because I like to draw fire. So, like,
Right.
so I would walk around and just get aggroed all the time.
We both play tanks, by the way.
I mean, right? Like, let's be real. But the thing is, like, by being out there, we are making it easier for the next person to follow us.
Yeah.
Right. By
Yep.
being out there and just existing and then thriving and then being in a place where people are seeing our pictures on signs
Yeah.
or showing up to signings to see you and me. Really?
Yeah.
Really? And then, like, by doing that, we're making it easier for people to both see themselves and also for other people to normalize the fact that we exist.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's sick.
It just makes me I'm laughing like with joy because doing this as a trans woman, I've had multiple direct conversations on the quantity of eggs that I've hatched
Right?
just by showing up on a Commander gameplay show. You
And
know
it's just like, okay, dude, like, whatever it takes for you to find you, I'm here to help you. Like, okay, like at the PPR, right during like the first wave of crazy Trump times, I went and I made a statement about like, hey, you know what, I'm here with you. And at Chicago, like 2 weeks later, there was just a line of crying trans folks at my signing, and I'm, you know what? If I made you feel less sad, I'm here for it, and that's awesome. It was pretty wild though. It was really wild, actually. But again, though, one thing like the game developers conference that happened in GDC, which is in San Francisco, it's where
Yeah.
all the video game developers come and they have like, it's a trade show. It's like not like I'm going to show off my new game, but we're going to talk about like business or whatever. And I ran into one of my dear friends who is a former designer, Sean Main. Sean Main created Conspiracy, created the original Kaladesh, and one of the greatest designers in my personal opinion, my favorite designer. And Sean recently had transitioned. So
Yeah.
now she's Sean Elizabeth Main instead of just Sean before. And I'm like, you know what that means is like every single great designer search has had a trans person win and go up and become a designer. And like every major Magic set you've ever seen has trans people working like up front and center. I'm like, so
That's
when I
awesome.
look at these comments, sometimes I'm like, bro, do you know the game you're playing? Do you know
Right?
like I mean, like,
It's
real
built
talk.
into the fabric, punk.
Like, I'm not going to blow up other people's spots, but Sean is public about it, so it's okay. But like, it's weird sometimes because you're like, literally, they made the game.
Yeah.
Like, so here's going to be a weird question for you, and I don't know how to phrase it, so I'm just going to be clunky about it. But how has being trans and being in the Magic community interacted for you?
What it's hard to it
Right? Like, I'm sure
it's
there's a better way I could ask that, but like,
no, it hasn't like interacted with me as much as I've y- almost because I am trans, it just ends up affecting what I'm trying to do
sure,
in just this inevitable natural way.
yeah,
Um I have Birds of Paradise and I have a community Discord server, Lobby Pristine, and I honestly I would and I don't I like wasn't intentional, but by at this point, like half of the roster of Birds of Paradise is trans women. Because
Mhm.
I as a trans woman, like I need a space to like feel comfortable and to enjoy the game in a safe way. Naturally, that fact is just gonna apply to the other trans women also in the space. So it's 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 kind of been a natural guiding light in the sense that if I'm giving myself a good space to enjoy this game, I'm inadvertently and naturally going to be giving other trans women
Mm.
that safe space too. And if I'm giving a safe space to trans women, at that point we're making a safe space for trans people, And then if we're making a safe space for trans people, then other queer people in general are going to feel comfortable. So it's just kind of this cascading
Mm-mm.
thing that built just from me being who I am. I don't know. That felt like a clunky answer for a clunky question.
But I mean, the heart of what I'm going at is though, it's like
Yeah.
because I've noticed, especially like the more involved in commander leadership I got, that like commander especially is hella trans, and like especially CDH, and I have not yet figured out why it is that CDH is like 90%. It's like there was a joke for a minute there where if you go to a CDH pod, 3 of the people there are going to be trans, and the 4th one will be trans eventually.
Sure.
And it was just like, I don't know why that is,
I
but
love
I'm
that.
happy
I
for you.
hope numerically it's true. I feel like it feels true more than it might be true,
I think
but
being online terminally skews a lot of that for me.
right.
But anyways, like I don't know. I think
But
it's just great to see.
people would I understand that generalization. I know exactly what you're saying. Like even
Yeah,
if I like worry about the numerics and think, well, it's probably is more cisgender, I still know exactly what you're talking about. Like
it feels that way sometimes, and
right.
I'm like, and that's
We're everywhere and it should feel that way.
yeah. I mean, maybe it's just because a lot of trans people yelled at me back when I was a casual dude, and they're like, "Stop ruining my CD." I'm like, "It's fine. I love you anyways. It's okay." But the thing is, like, so I'm like, how do I transition out of that question? um, let's. When did you find Commander?
Um, I found Commander. It does. I guess at this point, the years keep passing, and then I keep losing some details. But it certainly was the 2017 Eminence precons.
Oh,
Um, but that's. I think that wasn't too long after. I'm just thinking because Atraxa Praetor's voice was also out. That just came out the year right before that. I think that was 2016.
yeah, there was there was a couple of years there where Commander precons were real bad for Commander.
Yeah, no, those
Atraxa also made by a trans woman.
oh my gosh, that makes me so happy. The notorious Eminence plus 4-color Commander era. Because I remember the what got me into Commander was Dragon Lord Atarka, Atraxa, and Ur-Dragon. And like I had those 3 decks very, very, very early on.
Mm. My first Commander deck was Grimgrin because I cracked it in my Innistrad pre-release, and I was like, "This is really sick. I want to do something with it."
Yeah.
And I saw like Tim Willoughby had made an article about this format called Elder Dragon Highlander, where you can play with generals, and I'm like, I need to do that. And then my second one was Tajik because I got an Assemble the Legion in my promo kit for
Ah,
Return to Rav or Gate Crash,
yep.
and I was like, this is it. This is all I want to do. Make
Assemble the
soldiers all
Legion.
day. It's my dude. It is the slowest ass card on the planet, but it is my slow ass card.
It's a perfect magic card though.
It is the perfect magic card because eventually I'm just gonna have 7,000 soldiers,
Yep.
and you're just gonna be like, I
Soul Ring's
-1 the
legal in our
table.
turn 3, Assemble the Legion. Soul Ring's legal in the format. Like, come on.
See, now you're living the dream, right? Like that's a world I want to be in all the time. What kind of commander do you like to play?
I'm a green player in my soul. And I think that shines in like my gameplay and who I pick. If I had to, I actually am like EDH Rec certified in having a signature commander.
I didn't know
Um
you could be certified. Who do I need to talk to?
I didn't either, but the lovely folks over at EDH Rec had a episode 100 creators, 100 commanders. And I was watching that, no, genuinely in my heart, no expectations. And I was because I don't like I mentioned at the very beginning, my commander content is like at a certain point, a lot of it's vibes. So
Yeah.
I genuinely am not gonna have an expectation of like being on this list. But they mentioned several members of Birds of Paradise, and they mentioned me, and mine was Kadira, Caller of the Small, and that was an honor. And so I hang on to that badge nice and tight, and I'd be like, I have a signature commander. And they nailed it. They did. They nailed it. It is Kadir color of the small.
Oh, dude. Yeah, you and I talked a lot about the Kadir deck because I built my deck based on yours.
You have a Kadir deck.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, I built my Kadir deck based I got it. I started building it and I was like, who else has a Kadir deck? And you showed me yours and I'm like, oh, I'm going to borrow a ton from your list. It's not quite the same because my goal with Kadira is that my rabbits will never attack. Like the whole point is that I will stick I've got this this equipment which acts as a lure. So whenever one thing attacks with it, all the blockers have to block that one thing, and then because my goal is Kadir is going to be walking in with like 2 swords and a bunch of shields and totally Voltroned out.
I love that.
Smacking people. And my one rabbit's going to go in and scare everybody, and they're going to go block the rabbit, and then all the other rabbits are going to stay home and cheer, and it's going to be awesome. And they all get exalted, and it'll get very big, and Kadir will just smack you, but the rabbits will never attack.
I love it.
Yeah,
because they're a peaceful critter.
Yeah, like I'm not putting my rabbits in danger. I've got like other tokens that will come in that deck, but the last time I played it, I had to leave early, so I had the card which is like draw a card for each creature you have in play, and I had 750 tokens. So I'm just like, I draw 750 cards. See y'all later.
Peace. That's so funny. I recently did that with my Galta deck. I think if a deck is really gonna get across as quickly as possible the type of game I'm playing, it's definitely Galta. That's a deck like if I'm trying to get someone into Commander, I'm gonna hand them I'm gonna be like, hey, try this. And the last time I played Galta, I wanted out of a game. I was like, all right, I'm done here. And there was a punish you for drawing cards on the board with a Shieldred and one of those other effects. And so I was like, I'm gonna cast this. I'm gonna double Galta's power to 24, and then I'm gonna cast one of these spells that draws equal to power. So I'm gonna just go ahead and draw 24 and take 70 damage. All right, y'all, peace. I'm dead. have fun.
Okay, so I'm egotistical, so I went and I looked up that video that EDH Recast had done, and I'm on it. It turns out Joey put me on there, and he picked my Grimgrin deck as my signature, and I'm like, yeah, that's fair.
Nice. That completely checks out. Like,
yeah, I'm like, look, because I looked it up, and it's like the 3 commanders that pop up next to my face are Tajik, Grimgrin, and the Jedit Ojanen card that I helped create, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that tracks. I'm okay with that.
They were paying attention. Someone on the crew there, on camera or behind it, is like they really worked, and because I didn't get reached out to about it, which I thought was pretty cool. Like it was because it made it a surprise. But whoever did just paid enough attention to what I'm posting on the internet to be like, oh, this is the rabbit girl.
Kadir is such a good card, though.
That's the fact that it's an uncommon to this day. I'm like, oh, okay, this is where Magic is at. Kadira being an uncommon tells me where Magic
card
is
at. Cracked. The card is real cracked. But like Baldur's Gate is a set that I think people are going to be finding cards out of for like decades and have like no idea what's in there, and it's gonna be like, what the hell is this commander? Where did it come from? And like Kadir is cracked. My girl Mazzy is cracked. Just like, oh God, I love that set so much. Not made by a trans creator, even though like Corey's just a really nice guy. But yeah, like, sorry, I didn't mean. You know what? These talks periodically will just take a life of their own and end up being a topic that I did not intend because my mind will ramble. So I apologize for that one. But it's not. I'm not like pigeonholing you, so it doesn't matter. It's like we're talking about
that's just conversation at that point.
Really, people are like, "Do you script these?" I'm like, man, if I scripted these, do you think they would sound so ambient?
Yeah, that's they're not. Anyone who asks that question doesn't. I don't know. Do you listen to a podcast?
Right. Like, I don't know. My goal is like I just want to chill with cool people and like talk about cool things. But you've also dealt with a huge challenge recently of the ban list changing. Just kidding.
Nice. Yep.
No,
that hit me real hard.
Yeah, I know. It just
me and
makes
my
you,
7 mana crypts.
yeah, right. Like it just makes you tear your hair out.
Just kidding.
But yeah, so like I know it's been rough because you've been dealing with cancer lately, and like I don't want to dwell too long on that because that's just not fun for talking.
It's been my
But
chapter for like half an hour, so I mean, I meant half a year, so no worries.
how's that going?
It's going. I think I would say as well as it could go for someone who had stage 3 cancer.
Jesus.
Mine was luckily a particular curable type, but in order to defeat it, the chemo regimen required for it was extraordinarily aggressive.
Oh,
Like Hollywood aggressive chemotherapy, sitting in the chair for 5 hours.
5 hours?
Some days it was like a full shift. Some days we went at sun up and we didn't come home till sundown. So
Man,
the being in the 6 months straight of chemo was an absolute nightmare. I'm 3 months past that.
well,
And
good.
it's still a little ongoing. So while I'm done with chemo, which is to say I have done the absolute hardest part of it, I got a surgery coming up in less than 20 days.
Oh, geez.
They're going to go into the abdomen. They're going to take out a mass. I could lose my kidney in the process. They're like, hey, by the way, while you're in there,
I mean, like, how many of these do you really need?
Right.
It's a singleton format.
Just by the kidneys are Highlander, so we might just go ahead and snip one of those out.
Canadian Highlander? Oh, God.
But after that surgery, I've got there's a 10% chance I'll have to do more chemo, which is fantastic odds. So in my head, I finished that surgery, recovered from that surgery, and we're finally done here, and I can finally start like truly recovering my body and getting back to where I want to be. That's the summary. That's the summary of the hell that it's been.
Yeah, because like I remember when like Sheldon would be, because like me and Sheldon were pretty close, and we were talking like when he was going through chemo, and he would have his chemo and then fly across the country to go work at Watty and then go back home for another. I'm like, you're
unbelievable,
crazy, dude. You're crazy. And he's like, you would do the same to work at Watty. I'm like, yes, but that's not the point.
He is Ruhan of the Fomori. He really like a bulwark, a champion,
Dude, it turns out that it really does matter who is on top and who is leading and the example that they're setting for everybody cascading down.
Yep.
I believe have seen a couple of examples of how this could go.
I'm not feeling the existential pressure of that at all. Don't worry.
Yeah. Like as I was talking, I was just like, oh, this is double meanings all day long. But the thing is, Sheldon might have been the best leader Commander could have had for those first 10, 20 years or whatever, just like setting a firm standard of this is the philosophy, this is the vibe, this is the inclusivity. And also just like, I remember I asked him when he was putting me on the thing, I'm like, why do you want me? And he's like, because if when I retire, the Commander Rules Committee looks like it does now, I've failed. And I'm like, okay.
He meant it.
That I mean, like he walked the walk, dude. He definitely made sure to reach out to everybody in every community, and that was pretty insane. Like, I know he talked to you definitely, didn't he?
Yeah, there was a panel hosted when Jim had just gotten taken on. I forget which event exactly, but he specifically had a room of people with different perspectives and marginalized backgrounds and sat with us at a table to talk about how that affects Commander, and that was incredibly cool of him.
Isn't it like, look, when I think back on this stuff, I'm like, damn, dude, he really went out of his way for like, because some people used to talk to me, they're like, dude, it's just the rules. What does it matter what you look like for the rules? And I'm like, yes, but it's also representative of a community of people who play the thing.
Yeah.
It's not just, it's like, it's a social format, right? Yeah. And if it's, the social format needs to be welcoming to all the players because we're sitting here for 2-3 hours with each other, hanging out and talking.
Yeah.
And if we don't know what these people are, where they're coming from, how can we make sure that this is the most comfortable place for everybody to hang out?
Yeah. It's a very advanced concept that Charles Monowhite guy was able to
He's
articulate
so cool.
much finer than I was able to. But those like marginalized backgrounds and and having a different look and having a different life and experience, they think it doesn't affect it, like how could that affect the rules? It absolutely can. Like cuz people of those different marginalized backgrounds are going to have a different view of rules themselves that can come together and coalesce into a greater, common ground.
Right.
And they can't. I don't. It's almost like I can't blame them for not imagining. Oh, how could being black, affect the rules? Because and I kind of I understand the naivety and I understand how that can seem like it doesn't affect things, but it just does.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
really does. It like changes the way you behave. Like it one of the biggest values of diversity is that when you sit down at a table with other people and you familiarize yourself with them and they're no longer strangers and they're no longer a confusing issue, then you can treat them as not an abstract and they become a real thing to you.
yeah,
Like right now, a lot of the problems of the world are dealt with dehumanizing and like decontextualizing and removing the permanence of people who are different from the community you grew up in or whatever. And it's just like that's one of the things I think just like every time I go to a Magic Con and I just see like you or I see Daquan or I see Rebel or I see whoever it is, and I'm just like, look at this, man. Like we are the Legion, right? Like we are the entirety of everything. And you can sit down at a table with anybody from anywhere and just jam a game and it's fine. Right? Like you might have voted for the different candidate, but whatever. For like the next 2 hours, we're just gonna hang out and kill that other dude who's the arch enemy for putting Blood Moon out on turn 2. Right? Like,
I don't want to imagine the scene. I don't want to imagine the scene with like
Blood Moon turn
without
2.
without blood burn turtle, right? Without I don't know. I try not to be too egotistical, but I don't want to imagine the scene without people like us there.
It would be boring. Like it would be a GP with no entertainment.
Be uncanny. Like I'm not. Yeah.
It would be like the old days of Magic where it's like the hall is just like 400 Brian Kiblers sitting down, or like not Brian Kiblers, I guess like Ben Starks, just sitting down, hanging out, and just being like it would be a bunch of people who don't care what's on the top half of the card and only care about the numbers at the bottom. And I'm like, that's boring. That's boring. Magic is cool. It's weird. Let it be cool and weird. Like, I don't know. That's why I was so stoked when they were like, hey, do you want to help us fix Avishkar? And I'm like, yes, I do.
That's
like,
so
that's
cool.
the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Let me help you do that. It was rad. It was really rad.
I'm glad they listened. I'm glad they reached out,
You know what's funny?
It's not a guarantee.
No, it sure isn't. Like I was ready to just write it off forever. I'm like, look, they made Kaladesh, called it Land of Black People, and we're just gonna be here now, and that's just what it is. And then they're like, hey, so we didn't do it right the last time, and we would like to straighten that out a bit. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, pour moi.
Shocking. And awesome.
Yeah, dude, it rules. It rules. It's the Magic is changing internally and it's thusly changing externally. And folks like you help help shape where we are and where we can go. Because when people go on YouTube and Google like Magic or whatever and see your face or see Rebel or see Olivia or whatever, that's not the same as when I was a kid and we're looking at like John Finkel's and Kai Buddhas of the world, right? Like it's Magic's a whole different place. And I think that's so valuable and important. I don't know.
I'm in this just like stepping back and looking at it objectively. I'm in this unique spot of like checking so many boxes. I find myself invaluable to like if there's a panel for diversity going on, like get her.
Look, she's a 3-in-1 combo. Let's go.
My lights are pretty bright, but my original last name was Rivas. I am a person of color. I am a transgender. I am a woman. I am a lesbian, and now I'm also the cancer girl.
Right? Like, look, we've got the whole panoply. I can just, buy one and get 3 free. Like, we're just
If I can show up and show people of all 5 of those marginalized genres that you can just come hang out and play with us, then I'm doing enough. I feel very happy with what I'm able to do if that's what I can do.
I mean, dude, you made enough of an impact that Gavin gave you a card.
So okay, my life's crazy. I don't even
Tell me you didn't lose your mind, because I know I lost mine.
Unbelievable. I have it right here in front of me. Unbelievable. We have video feeds, right? Yeah. Okay, let me. Can I just show off?
Yeah, please. Just describe it for the audio audience.
Yes, absolutely. I'll share it with the camera. But the unknown card is a 3-mana legendary green bird called the Paradise Bird. I'm like, this unbelievable. It's a 1/1 flyer. Other birds you control get +1/+1. Anthem. Just a clean anthem.
Very
for
pure
all birds.
Green right there. Let's go.
Pay green and tap it. Activated ability. Create a Birds of Paradise token.
What?
Literally, like
you're broken.
Hold on, and then the final line of the card. If the Paradise Bird is your commander, your deck can include cards of any color identity.
Yeah, I can.
God, oh my gosh. So I don't stutter this much, but I am. But when I'm a loss of words as to what this honor is, I'm just at a loss for words. And then for those who are on the YouTube, here's Mark Poole.
You got Mark Poole to do it.
Yes, lovely Queen of Cardboard. This was a gift.
That's so sick.
Because of chemo, I was not able to actually make it to the convention where this premiered. But I had a lot of incredible people on the ground floor who were there to make sure that I was able to. And then I
didn't get one of those. I was gonna give it to you, but
that means a lot. No sweat. We had lesion. And my last rant on this gush fest is Crystal Sully altar that I've got. So
that's so sick.
This one's more like a dragon bird.
I love it.
I'm so honored,
dude.
But yeah, I could go on.
It's the coolest feeling. It's so validating.
It literally. I try to make the birds around me strong. I try to bring more birds in and make people feel like they could be a bird too. I like to create more birds of paradise, and I like to strengthen them. And I like to invite people of all colors and creeds under this. And you're
wings. Green.
And I'm mono green.
Oh man, dude!
Thanks for giving me the floor to just kind of gush about that first.
Oh, come on, man! Like, how is that not the sickest thing that could happen to any of us?
I'm beyond honored, and it like feels like it's for all of us too. It feels like, because my goal has been to get the Paradise Bird unknown cards in the hands of as many members of Birds of Paradise as I possibly can. I've been kicking butt. We got like 20 of them dispersed at this point.
Dude, these Gavin unknown cards are so wild.
They're a dream.
It's just like, I remember, like, okay, the first time, the second unknown event where he premiered these things.
Yeah.
And I was there and I overheard someone's like, yeah, I got a Kibler and I got an Olivia. And I'm like, oh yeah, of course, Kibler and Olivia. And I'm like, I didn't expect anything of it. I'm like, yeah, sure. Why wouldn't Gavin turn like the Queen and King of Commander into cards?
Right.
I was just like, whatever. And then someone tapped me on the shoulder, like, yo, is this you? And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And he shows me a card called Keeper of the Favorite Cards. And I was like, and I lost my mind. I lost my mind. And it said on the card, you may have any number of favorites. And I was like,
that's so crazy.
That's so good. Yeah, I don't know, dude.
We get to break the game, and that might be one of the greatest honors that I will get to experience.
Yeah, it's sick. It's so sick. You know what the coolest thing is? I got to meet my hero Kai Buddha in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And I got him to sign the German Juggernaut unknown card that Gavin had made for him.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is, speaking of other like heroes who have cancer in our community, but man, you and Kai should sit down and have a conversation sometime. It's like, talking to the goat of all goats. Dude
Yeah.
won 5 pro tours in a row. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? How? And it's my dream to have him on the show,
Legendary.
but he's been like, you know what? I'm not up for it. And I'm like, fair and reasonable. I'm not going to bother
Yeah.
you. But anyways, God, it's been so great to talk to you, Bobbie. I'm so glad. I love having you in the community. It makes me happy that you're still like such a shining light here. And so like, I'm stoked that we were able to hang out and chat for a bit.
That means a lot. We have a tradition of just big hugs, and I'm gonna keep that up as long as
Awesome.
that's cool.
Well, if folks wanted to find you, where could they go?
I'm Bobbie Christine everywhere. And I'm on the social medias at Bobbie Christine everywhere. The place I'd love you to find me if you just happen to be heading on out to MagicCon Vegas. The Birds of Paradise, you can see our Big Bird and Community Row at the Birds of Paradise booth. We're going to be having events all weekend. Come play Pack Wars, come play Commander with the lovely members of Birds of Paradise. It's going to be a super cool, inclusive space. I'm excited that WotC has put the Gathering Grounds initiative at Vegas.
Nice.
That's where you can find me. But I also want to say a little plug for old BCD.
You've got the floor right now.
I have been working very hard lately to share my deck services via Patreon. My deck services are to utilize the writing expertise and the just overall knowledge of gameplay that I'm privileged and lucky to have by just playing and knowing the game and letting this be something that I'm able to do regularly every day. I want to share that expertise with as many people as possible. So I have been working hard on my Patreon, and I have commissions open for deck brews. The testimonials have been greater than I could have honestly have ever hoped. People have come to me asking for help with their Ninja Turtles deck. They've come to me like, oh, I want to make a Howl's Moving Castle deck for my girlfriend, but I just don't have the time. Can you help me? Can you help me bring this gift together for her? Someone's like, hey, I got an Ur Dragon and $500. Can you help me out here? And so there's
all right,
many.
then I'm gonna give you a challenge right now.
Okay.
My son wants to build a Hydras and Dragons deck.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
I've got a Progenitus, I've got an Ur Dragon, I've got a Tiamat. I don't have any other cards.
So epic. Yes, I love to take a concept just like that, and a lot of people, for one reason or another, having a full-time job, just not really having they have the vision, but they don't have they don't want to sit there on Moxfield for hours at a time. Hit me up. I would love to take on a commission and help you bring your passionate favorite deck idea to life. Or if you have a deck that's struggling, I'd love to tweak things up for you and make sure that when you sit down to play that deck, it's going to work every single time you sit down to play. So yeah, hit me up on social media, Bobbie Christine everywhere. Thanks for letting me have a little bit of the floor here to talk about so much.
That's the whole point of the end of the show is say whatever you want. I don't care. If I don't like it, it won't show up in the show. However, I've never edited anybody, so whatever. So it goes. I'm just so bummed I can't be in Vegas, but my wife and I are going to see Metallica. So on Friday and Sunday.
Yeah. The thing about the MagicCons too is apparently they're just going to keep, there's going to be another one.
Yeah, it turns out coming. They just keep kind of rolling them out.
They're just going to keep coming. So
yeah, it's like
Metallica actually just might not.
Yeah, they're old and they're it's hard to be a metalhead after 40 years. And it's like, who knows how long they're going to be around. I've only seen them 17 times. So I guess I'm going to have to do this again. Also, I was just in Vegas and I remembered how much I hate that city.
When I'm in Vegas, I'm I'm on the con floor and I'm in my hotel. I'm not going out there. I'm not trying to do Vegas, No, thank you. No, I totally get that.
Yeah. Anyways, so it goes sometimes. But remember, my friends, you can find me at Shivam Bhatt on Blue Sky, or I think actually that's really it because I'm trying to cut back. I'm also trying to ramp up my Instagram, but I haven't figured out how to do that because I'm old. But you can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are sold, or at YouTube every Tuesday, thanks to my editor, Dan. And you can also hear me on Shivam Wheeler Love Magic, where we have a bi-weekly show where we cover every set, and then a bonus show that comes out the day and date with the set release that covers all the cards we didn't cover in the main episode, and then another bonus show on the off weeks where we talk about a commander that the community has suggested and try to build a deck around it in half an hour. And that show is getting to be a lot of shows, and that's a lot of work, and I'm thankful for all your support in being able to afford to do 3 shows worth of show. But yeah, and I'm also on the Chronicles of Dragonlance podcast because I love talking a lot.
Me too.
But with that, my friends, it's not magic without the gathering, and we'll see you